have a motion to resume public session. Dr. Richards? Ms. Littlewood? Oops, sorry, I'm looking at you. It got loud, it got quiet. Ms. Davis? Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Okay, the vote is unanimous. Can we please stand for the pledge? Sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, that moves us forward to the GC Pride Awards.
Good evening, Board of Education, Superintendent Daly. I am Rebecca Scott, principal at Neil Armstrong Elementary, and I am very happy tonight to honor two special fourth graders from Neil Armstrong. Our PE staff have nominated these two individuals because they live the Spartan way every single day in the classroom academically, in the gym, and outside of school. Without further ado, and I would like to note that both of these students actually have parents that are GC graduates as well, so this is a legacy here. So without further ado, could I please nominate Jacob McMillan and Sky Vaughn.
Good evening. Tonight, I would like to award one of our students at the middle school, Ellis Palmer, with the GC Pride Award. Ellis, why don't you come on up? I am really proud of Ellis. Ellis has faced adversity in the middle school, and one of the things that he does extremely well is that he is an advocate for everybody else. And I want to give you two examples. So during Black History Month, Ellis is also an artist. During Black History Month, Ellis came up to me and said, Dr. Buckshaw, you think maybe I can make some posters? So I said, sure. And in great respect and courtesy, Ellis said, I'll show them to you. So Ellis did, and they were computer generated, and he did a phenomenal job. And the theme in it it was deeper. It was like every day is Black History Month. Every day is celebrating the diversity of others. And then Autism Month came along, and Ellis came up to me and said, Dr. Buckshaw, do you think that maybe I could do some posters for Autism Month or Autism Day? And I said, sure, and don't you worry, I'll show them to you. And he definitely did that and came and showed them to me. And one of the things, if you walk around the middle school, there are these 8.5 by 11 posters that he put around in all different corners of the building and really helped to dispel some myths about autism. So it wasn't just saying, hey, let's celebrate Autism Month, but it was educating. And so I really felt like that was going above and beyond, and more than a lot of people would do. So I really wanted to recognize him tonight with the Spartan Way Award. Congratulations. Thank you. The Spartan Way.
All right, our next on the agenda is our 10-year celebrations.
Good evening, President Coffey, Mr. Daly, members of our Board of Education. My name is Michaela Parado. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources and Labor Relations. And tonight it is my great pleasure to celebrate our faculty who will be achieving the milestone of tenure this evening when the board acts on their tenure recommendations. On behalf of the entire school district, I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to each and every one of you receiving tenure this evening. In this year's tenure class, we have 26 faculty members, including 2 tenure recipients from this past fall. While not everyone can be here in person tonight, they all have pretty good excuses for not being here, those that aren't, including 2 of them having just had babies. So we extend our congratulations to them, and hopefully they're able to turn in virtually. I would like to also express our gratitude to our building administrators, mentors in the room, colleagues in the room, and friends or family members of those receiving tenure this evening. You have given valuable guidance and support throughout your friend, family member, colleague's tenure journey that you may not understand how valuable that's been to them, but I can assure you they probably would not have made it through the process without you. So thank you to you all. Tenure is a major rite of passage for educators, and it signifies not only employment security, but also the confidence that we as a district have in our tenure recipients. Our administrative team has heard me many times say, before you recommend a staff member for tenure, I want to know that every time you walk into their classroom or their office or where they do their work, that they make you want to stand up and cheer. So give yourselves a big pat on the back for having earned this, because you have earned it. You do the work, you put in the work every single day to make sure that our students are served to the best of our abilities. And without you, we would not be the great district that we are, and we mean that from the bottom of our hearts. We thank you for all of your work, for your dedication to our district. We also greatly look forward to what you will do in the future. This is the very beginning of your journey, and we know that you will be here for years to come serving our community and continuing to push the edges of what we can provide for our students. So thank you. I was going to invite Mr. Daly and Mrs. Coffey up, but they're already there. So I'm going to ask that our building principals, in the order that I announce the buildings, come up and assist in handing out certificates. And Mr. Daly and Mrs. Coffey are going to hand out a token of our appreciation. And then for our tenure recipients, I'm going to ask that you stand in front of the Gates Child Eye pop-up that's over here. And Eva's going to make you take lots of pictures. Okay, so when I call your name, please come up to the table and receive your certificate and your token of our appreciation. Deanna Gazorchik, high school special education teacher. Thomas Hamill, high school assistant principal. Anna Howard, high school counselor. Katie Menges, high school family and consumer science teacher. Rachel Rhodes, high school reading teacher. Kristen Joseph, high school math. Crystal Winter, middle school English. She cannot be with us this evening, but Evangelia Zissis, middle school ESL teacher. Alicia Nelson, I'm not sure, did Alicia come in? Oh, she did come in. Alicia Nelson, middle school counselor. Congratulations. Melissa Condodorio, middle school counselor. Dr. Robin Williamson, middle school science. Now, Florence Brasser Elementary School. William Lewis, Brasser, physical education teacher. Congrats, Bill. Stephanie DePaula, Brasser, speech. Donna Dunn, Florence Brasser, music. Sarah Amesbury, Florence Brasser, elementary teacher. Sharon Benedict, Florence Brasser, ESL teacher. Lee Herkamp, Florence Brasser, special education teacher. Okay, now Neil Armstrong Elementary School. Kimberly Bergholzer, Neil Armstrong Special Education. Katrina Ellie could not be with us this evening, but Neil Armstrong, school counselor, congratulations to her. Stephanie Wells, Neil Armstrong, elementary teacher. Catherine Mahaney, Paul Road, school social worker. Brittany Porter, Paul Road, elementary teacher. Bridget Remillard, Paul Road, special education teacher. Stacy Porter, Paul Road, library media specialist, could not be with us this evening, but we congratulate her. Okay, and finally, Disney. Catherine Pica, Disney school counselor. And last but certainly not least, Sarah Powers, Walt Disney elementary teacher. Congrats to you all. Eva, are we doing pictures? Are we doing a group picture though? Okay. Okay, so once Eva has finished taking building pictures, we are all going to transition, anyone who would like to join us, we're going to transition to the cafeteria, the large cafeteria, which is just around the corner. Dr. Vasquez, you want to raise your hand? Follow Dr. Vasquez if you want to join us, and we will be there for some refreshments and some fun conversation. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations again.
It's absolutely fine.
Should I give it a minute?
Does anyone have one? So is it, it's closest without going over, so no one would.
All right, Superintendent Deely, any agenda changes?
There were changes to personnel.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, moving forward to board president comments. It's been a busy few weeks with lots of opportunities to participate in our local public education for both learning experiences and to support our children, which has been wonderful. Right at the beginning of what was spring break for those of us who are in education or have kids in our schools, I had the opportunity to participate in the NISBA conference, the National School Board Association Conference, which is an incredible learning experience where you can attend different sessions, learning workshops, interact with people, network with people who are working in and supporting public education throughout our country. Some of the topics that we were able to explore and learn about in this conference that really stuck out to me had to do with advocacy for public education in our students, equity and diversity, and learning even more about school governance and the role of boards and how they can work together with our community and our administration. It was also a really great opportunity to see some of our own administration present on the diversity and equity work in our district. And it's always really cool to see the actual presentation form of how it all comes together. So that was a great experience. On a closer to home front, I have had the opportunity to spend a lot of time at Brasser over the past couple weeks, which has been great. We had the Learning Fair, which I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to it. Some of you I know I've seen there before. But it's a wonderful evening activity where families and community members all come to the school, and our students get to share work they've been doing for a couple of months on any topic that they've picked. So we had a wide variety there. There was slime, there were volcanoes, dance, unicorns, sewing, just such a wide variety to see who our children are and little bits about who they're going to be as they grow up. Brasser also did a really great job this year of supporting students and families who might not otherwise have been able to participate. They had after-school sessions where they had teachers and staff there helping kids do research and work on their projects and then being able to take the late buses home. So I thought that was a really great opportunity. And the other thing I got to do with Brasser over the past few weeks, which again just really shows the focus and the work and the values of our community, was attending Aladdin with the connection with the RBTL. It was a very late school bus ride, but it was a wonderful experience to see all of our students and parents and teachers there in the evenings supporting learning, supporting the arts, and being a part of their community in a way that some of our kids probably don't get to very often, especially on a school night. But they were so good, they were so excited, and it was just wonderful to see how many people were there and the way other people were responding positively to our students. So those are the things that I have to share tonight. Thank you. Moving on to points of interest. Ms. Kais?
I feel like I have a list because it's been a while since we've been here. Also attended NISBA with Mrs. Coffey, Mrs. Littlewood, and Dr. Richards. I was able to attend some sessions on student engagement, power of social media, board governance, and of course observing Mr. Olin, Mr. DeJong, and Dr. Sino, who all did a fabulous presentation. You guys really did a nice job. I know we're biased because we're Gates, but you guys really knocked it out of the park. Got to go see the JV boys golf match. Actually, it's JV boys and girls golf match. Ending the other day, which was nice to see them out. It was a nice sunny day, which was a rare week in April for them to have that match. I wanted to acknowledge an email I received from Mrs. Qualiata, and was our Latin teacher for the district. She sent an email about the achievements that the middle school 8th graders had on their national Latin exam, and there was, I believe, 13 of those students who tested in a ward level, and that just speaks to the quality of our students and our teaching staff to achieve that. And last but not least, I wanted to share a comment at a drop-off or Boy Scout camp over the weekend. A parent came up who told me that their youngest son went to Aladdin as well with Paul Road or Brasser, one of the two, and that it was so important to them that we had that program that they wanted to remain in our district for their years of education.
Any other points of interest? Ms. Littlewood.
Hello. I was just going to also add that I was able to attend the National School Board Association Conference, and one of the sessions that stood out to me was also board governance, and it kind of related to what, as a board, we've been seeing with our districts and student council that hit home that our district is moving towards that direction as well. Also, how to use data for RTI, and we were also able and honored to see our own leaders here present for the Belonging Bound, Making Room for Everyone on the Road to Equity. There were many people that came with questions at the end on the work that they are doing and we are doing here. I also wanted to highlight our strong partnership with RBTL, and I was able to attend Aladdin as well with my son. It was pretty amazing. The students didn't talk at all. They were quiet and silent and excited to watch the show. So I just wanted to thank the district and RBTL for that. So thank you.
Mr. Moscato?
Excuse me. I was able to attend the academic varsity letter ceremonies. This was the 26th edition of that ceremony. I had the honor of being at the first one, and I wanted to make sure, I definitely was around for the next one that came about. For those who don't know, the academic varsity letter is awarded to students who can achieve 65 quarter grades of 95 or higher. So this means for most students, it's not till midway through their junior year they can get that far. But there are also several students there who had gotten 30 additional quarters in from the time they won the first letter. So this is a very unique program. I don't think I heard of any other school that offers a varsity letter. It's a real varsity letter for academic achievement. So it was a real honor to be there, and I hope we can continue it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other points of interest? Dr. Richards?
Good evening, everyone. Ditto to what my colleague said about the National School Boards Association Conference, so I won't repeat that. However, some of us did have the opportunity to attend the annual meeting for BOCES, this Monroe County BOCES 2, what was it, last week?
Last week.
And it was phenomenal to see the students and the work that they put in and just the setup. It was gorgeous. And then we actually took a couple pictures with our students from Gates Chali, which was phenomenal. But just to see the work that all of the students have done in that program and what the program does for them was wonderful. So I just wanted to acknowledge their work as well as our partnership with Monroe 2 BOCES, and to thank everyone for everything they've done.
Thank you. Any other points? All right. Moving on to report of meetings. Ms. Moscato?
I had the opportunity to attend the Monroe County School Board Association Legislative Committee meeting last Wednesday. This meeting was unique because we had one of our board, New York State regents there, Wade Norwood, and we were able to talk to him about different issues that are coming up with the commissioner and with the Board of Regents. So it was very unique to be able to go directly to one of the regents and ask them questions and bring up issues with them. It may not be the best way for the commissioner to know what's going on, but we sort of enjoy it because Wade's been very responsive. If we ask him a question or bring up an issue, he takes it back to the commissioner and back to the Board of Regents for some analysis. So again, he was very positive. He did admit that the state legislature was not going to approve what they want in the budget, but he was very optimistic about the way the year was going. So it was well worth it. Thank you.
Thank you. Other meetings? Ms. Kais?
In March, we had Information Exchange Committee meeting, which always falls the day after this one, so I'm always way behind on reporting it. It was on the use of an app and software called Parent Square. It was presented by Fairport Central School District. Very interesting. Sounds like echoing a lot of stuff we do here, but in one central place. Tomorrow is another Information Exchange Committee meeting. It is on board governance and how to work as an effective board or qualities of effective board. It is available virtually if anyone wants to come in or to the meeting.
Thank you. Any other meetings? Okay, moving on to visitor comments. Do we have any? No? All right, then towards discussion items, we have our budget update.
Good evening, Superintendent Daly, President Coffey, and the Board of Education. Thank you for having me. I'm Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mitch Ball. So tonight is the final, this thing is sliding down on me. Here we go. Tonight is the final budget presentation before the anticipated Board of Education adoption of the budget. We're pretty far along in the process. As you know, we started back in October. We get to tonight, and I'll walk you through kind of next steps from here. But in terms of the legal process for school budgets across the state, for the 700 school districts that, 700 approximate school districts that adopt budgets, we are at the point now where we need to adopt a expenditure budget that can then be put out to the public for vote in May. So I'll walk you through some things. Our agenda is kind of where we are, expenditure budget proposal, revenue plan, and then the proposition and Board of Education elections. So here we are. We are at that point where the board needs to adopt the budget. Starting tomorrow, we'll begin preparing all the budget documents, newsletter, presentations, and video series. As you know, we've had a number of presentations to the board. We've had a lot of conversations. We've had conversations at the Finance Facilities and Audit Committee. We've had a lot of internal conversations to shape up where the budget is today. And so now, once the board adopts this evening, we will then begin preparing all of those documents so that we can share those with the public. We can have presentations with internal staff and some outside groups. And then from there, we'll have a budget hearing on May 2nd. And also meet the candidates night, which, if you recall, last year was a heavily attended meeting. It was very good to have the candidates in to share their platforms at that time. And then on May 16th, we'll have the annual budget vote and board election. So that's kind of where we're at. Again, we're pretty far in the process. If you'll recall back to prior meetings, we had a lot of things on this slide. Now we're getting down to the last little chunk of it. So the expenditure proposal budget, again, this is a very brief presentation, one slide, because we've been over all of this stuff in many iterations. It's a zero-based budget, modified because there are some things like when you carry staff over, we assign like a salary increase to those. So those in some ways aren't exactly zero-based, but we do build our staffing budget from the bottom up when looking at what programs and services we are both required to and want to service for our kids. And then it's a no-frills budget, so there's no extra stuff in here. It's essentially built in a way that allows us to support initiatives across the district. So the budget proposal is a 5.08% increase. You can see last year's to this year's. It is just on the bottom end of what we know regionally to be anticipated increases in the area. So we do feel that it's responsible, especially given the fact that consumer price index increased 8% last year and is continuing to track at around 5% or more in this current year. So the revenue plan, so right now, as you know, under the state budget is supposed to be finalized by April 1st. We are now at April 18th, so we do not have a state budget. This is the longest that the state has waited to adopt a budget in over a decade now, since well before I became a business official. In the past, far past, early 2000s, there were times when the state may not adopt a budget till August, September, October, even as late as November, and school districts are still required to adopt a budget. Boards of education are to adopt an expenditure plan, which again is just a plan on how we're going to spend money based on what we know today for next year. The board is required to adopt that budget regardless of whether or not we know exactly how much revenue we're going to have from the state. And so today we're at a point where we don't have a very clear or a precisely clear revenue plan. We still don't know how much state aid we're going to get. We have an idea because As you know, the governor's office puts out an executive proposal. We built the budget using that executive proposal, assuming that that's the minimum amount of funding that we're going to receive. From there, we have balancing mechanisms. So if for some reason that state aid projection comes in lower than we anticipated, then we may need to use more appropriated fund balance or reserves to help balance our budget. If it comes over, then we know that we can use a little less reserves and appropriated fund balance to help balance our budget. So we do have balancing mechanisms in order to balance the budget, and that would be our plan. If for some reason something really catastrophic happened, which is not anticipated in any way, shape, or form based on what is being shared through Albany and at the state level, but if something really catastrophic was to happen, then we would have to have further conversation about how we move forward from a budgetary perspective. With that being said, when the vote goes out in May and the public votes, if they approve the budget, then that expenditure budget amount is the maximum amount of money that the district can spend in the next school year. So this is our plan for revenue right now, based on what we know, and as we get more information, we'll be sure to share it out with the board at that time. Okay, any questions about the budget specifically or the revenue plan? All right, so moving on to budget propositions and board elections. 4 vote propositions, I know we went over this at the last meeting. The expenditure budget, that $128 million. A bus proposition, I will note that in terms of bus propositions, we borrow for buses. We essentially have a vehicle loan, like a car loan on our buses. And so the proposition you see on the ballot is an authorization to borrow money to buy our buses. And so for us, we're looking at purchasing 14 buses at around $1.9 million. That's a borrowing. And so what does that mean precisely? That means that we will finance those buses over 5 years. So if for some reason, the district decided not to buy buses, it wouldn't mean that we're going to save that money in 1 year. It just means that we wouldn't be issuing that debt or getting that car loan on those buses. And so it wouldn't really save us that amount of money is kind of the bottom line in this conversation surrounding buses. So we do have that bus replacement plan as we went over at prior board meetings. And so we do know that when we replace buses every 6 years, that it allows us to do it in the most fiscally responsible way for our taxpayers. We do it at that point when buses are at the point where we can still get a trade-in and aren't costing us too much money in terms of upkeep. So again, that is the most fiscally responsible way to purchase buses and to honor our taxpayers. So the next one is the capital reserve creation, the $50 million that aligns with our long-range building plan, and then the student ex officio to the Board of Education. So that's something that the board has talked about in great detail and will be on the ballot for this particular vote. So Board of Education elections, 4 seats available. Again, this is something we went over at the last meeting. 3 are 3-year terms, and then 1 is the expiring term of Catherine Davis. The big news is that today, yesterday, petitions for the Board of Education were due by 5 p.m. At the end of the day, we have 7 candidates to fill those 4 positions. These, the pictures and names you see up there are in ballot order as they will show up on the ballot. Today we did the ballot drawing at noon, along with Conda, our board clerk. Thank you, Conda, for that. And so this is ballot order. This is how it will show up on the ballot based on the drawing. And those are the 5 candidates for the Board of Education. You will hear more 7. You will hear more from them that are able to attend at the hearing and meet the candidate night. So the last thing I'll share is the Bit of Budget series. We started recording that today with Mrs. Petrosino, our Director of Communications. We recorded the first video today. This is a little snapshot of what's to come, a little teaser. It will come out on April 24th, the first episode, and then we'll be releasing 2 episodes a week leading up to the budget vote. Okay, so at that, thank you very much. Any questions or comments or thoughts? All right, thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you. All right, moving towards consensus items. Can I have a motion to approve the consensus agenda? Mr. Bailey, Ms. Davis, any questions, concerns? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Can I have a motion to approve consensus items C through N? Ms. Kais, Ms. Littlewood, any questions, concerns, comments? All in favor? The vote is unanimous.
That is me. Okay. Tonight in consensus items, we had 3 people that we're going to recognize right now. One is Max Ackerson, who tonight you just hired a special ed teacher at Disney who will be probationary next year. So Max is with us tonight, so welcome to the family, Max. We also accepted the resignation for retirement for Mrs. Deborah Wagner, an office clerk 4. She's been with us 16 years in the middle school counseling and a building secretary at Neil Armstrong, as well as Mr. John Eaton, a head bus driver at Transportation for 20 years. So we'd like to recognize them for their dedication to the district, bless you, and wish them all the best of luck in retirement. And Max, as you're starting with us. So that is my Michaela report.
Good job.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations. All right, moving forward to action items. Action item A, we have tenure appointments. Be it resolved that the board approves the following tenure appointments at the April 18th, 2023 meeting as recommended by the superintendent of schools. Do I just go down here?
Yes, correct. Yep.
All right.
No, not, you asked for.
Can I have a motion?
Yeah. Motion to
All
approve.
right, can I have a motion to approve this? Ms. Kais, Mr. Long, any questions, concerns? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Okay, moving on to action item B. Can I have a motion to approve the 2023-2024 Board of Education proposed budget as listed below on the agenda? Can I have a motion? Mr. Moscato, Mr. Bailey, any questions or concerns? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Okay. Action item C, can I have a motion to approve the 2023-2024 annual budget and propositions as follows, listed in the agenda below? Can I have a motion? Ms. Littlewood, Mr. Potensky, any questions? All in favor? Okay, the vote is unanimous. Okay, action item D. Can I have a motion to approve the 2023-2024 property tax report card? Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Potensky, Dr. Richards, any questions? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Action item E. Can I have a motion to approve the Monroe to Orleans BOCES administrative budget of $8,833,813 for the 2023-2024 fiscal year? Can I have a motion? Mr. Potensky, Ms. Kais, any questions? Other than if I struggle saying that number, all in favor? The vote is unanimous. Okay, action item F. Can I have a motion to acknowledge the board candidates in election ballot placement as listed below in the agenda? Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Richards, Mr. Bailey, any questions? All in favor? The vote is unanimous.
Do we vote on it if we're in it? Yes. Okay.
Yes. Okay, all in favor? Good question. All right, action item G. Can I have a motion to vote on the Monroe to Orleans BOCES board candidates as listed below in the agenda? Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Long, Dr. Richards, any questions? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Okay, action item H. Can I have a motion to approve the establishment of the following extra classroom activity club, varsity girls flag football team? Have a motion? Ms. Davis, Mr. Bailey, any questions? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Action item I. Can I have a motion to approve the following rate of pay increase for lifeguards, swim instructors, field house supervisors, and continuing education evening supervisors with the district to attract and retain qualified people effective April 15th, 2023? Have a motion? Mr. Moscato, Mr. Potensky, any questions? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Moving on to superintendent's comments.
I'm just waiting for my slides to catch up to me. All right. So congratulations to each of our Spartans administrators and faculty that are in tenure this year. Your dedication, passion, and professionalism are outstanding. Thank you for choosing to make GC a great place to work, learn, and grow for all. Last week, our students attended Aladdin at the Auditorium Theater. Hundreds of students poured out of school buses and filed into the theater, excited to see the show they had been studying for months. We received an email from a fellow audience member not affiliated with the district who shared how impressed they were with our students' behavior and demeanor during the performance. Kudos to our students and to our staff members who showed them the Spartan way. The week finished off with a special visit for them. Those same students came over to the GCPAC for a workshop with the actors that played Jasmine, Aladdin, and Iago at the GCPAC on Friday morning. The Q&A session was filled with laughs and wonderful moments. One of the cast members even shared how difficult it can be to perform during the month of Ramadan when she's fasting. After the session, some students actually wrote thank you notes to the castmates. One student's arts, picture here, mentioned how wonderful it was to be able to connect over the common bond of fasting. That actor then shared the message on her social media account, saying it made her so happy to know that kids in the audience felt heard. What a great program for our district. We thank the Board of Ed for their continued support for our award-winning Arts Partners program. We recently were notified of how great our Latin program is doing. Congratulations to the following high school Latin students who have received awards for their achievement on the 2023 National Latin Exam. This exam was taken by over 100,000 students from all 50 states and 13 foreign countries. Grade 9 award winners are listed up here. Grade 10, grade 11, and now the following Latin 1B have received awards for their achievement on the National Latin Exam. Again, with over 100,000 students from 50 states and 13 foreign countries listed here from the middle school. So congratulations to them and our outstanding staff that guided them to achieve so well. Today at high noon, we had the draft to get the order for the drawing for the Board of Ed candidates. And with the number one pick in the 2023-24 order was Ms. Katie Davis, followed by Linda Palmer, Mr. Scott Bubel, Mr. Rob Long, Mrs. Katie Coffey, Michelle Jennings, and Jamar Elliott. So that will be the order that as they appear on the ballot. And you'll get to meet all of them exclusively at the budget public hearing on Tuesday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. right here in the PLC. Meet the candidates forum will follow immediately after. If Gates Charlie CSD residents want to submit questions to ask our candidates, they can submit them beginning tomorrow. The link will be available on our homepage. Submit those by Wednesday, April 26th at high noon. Our AP exams are coming up, so we'll be held May 1 through 12 for all our AP students. And then our New York State exams for ELA will be April 19th through 20th for the elementary and 2021 for the middle school. For those wondering, hey, when's math? It's May 2nd through 9th. So, and then our science exams will be Tuesday, May 30th and through Friday, June 2nd for the grade 8 performance. And then the 8th grade science written will be well done on Monday, June 5th. Coming up, we have our elementary Heart Walk, so you can join Paul Road, Walt Disney, Florence Brasser, Neil Armstrong on Monday, April 24th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Spartan Stadium on the trackside for a family-friendly heart walk. Thank you to our PTOs and family associations for planning some fun games and activities at the event. So I was on a panel on Monday for Act for Education to discuss budget development with the Superintendent Mancuso from HFL, Assistant Superintendent Abbott from East Irondequoit, and Monroe 1 Superintendent White. It will air next week on April 26th on the Act for Ed website. And boy, if you like driving, and I know all of you do, you have a great opportunity coming up for you. May the driving force be with all of you on May the 4th. We invite community members to come out to our transportation job fair. The event, which will be hosted from 4 to 7 at our transportation center, will give folks the opportunity to test drive a bus, look under the hood of a new electric school buses, tour our facilities, and meet our drivers. Come out and learn about the force that makes Gates Chili a great place to be a bus driver. I wanted to take a moment to share some important information with the board about HBCU visits in light of public comments made at our last meeting. While we certainly still have room to grow in the area of promoting historically black colleges and universities to our students, I'm pleased to share that we had several students that did attend a trip that was offered by our partners at Hillside, free of charge. They toured BOE State University, Morgan State University, and Coppin State University. Sightseeing included the Baltimore Inner Harbor, the aquarium, and the DC Monuments and National Mall area. Our high school career center provides students and families with information and links to scholarships, which does include many HBCUs. Any and all scholarship questions can and should be directed to our career center, which provides students and families with a single point of contact to avoid confusion. In regards to college fairs, HBCU schools do receive an invite and have attended ours in the past. We have a local contact who helps set it up for us. When it comes to the trip to the HBCUs that was run by Fairport, our high school administration and career center will be involved in dispersing that information if the trip does run again next year, and make sure that our students know about it if they'd like to attend. For now, we're in the process of securing some HBCU pennants to display in the Counseling and Career Center to help promote those schools and spark interest among our students. The last thing I'd like to share would be a big thank you. We had a team of leaders go down to the national school boards and present on our journey to equity. And all the feedback I've received from local people that were there, as well as people that attended that were not from around here, they talked about what a great job that under the leadership of Jason, Troy, Eva, and Sandra, what a difference in the quality versus what some other presentations were down there, and talk about the thoroughness and professionalism of the presentation, and the fact that they were there with great examples, were open to questions, and it was extremely well received. So, and thank you to our board members that went and supported them by attending it. All reports are it was outstanding, and this team has really led our district tremendously through this journey, as we call it. And we couldn't be prouder of them and the recognition they're receiving, not just locally, regionally, but now nationally. So thank you to all of them. And that is my report.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any need for executive session?
We do not.
I have a motion to adjourn the meeting. Mr. Long, Ms. Littlewood, any questions or concerns? No? I'll-
The time of the heart walk on Monday, that's
6 to 7.
6 to 7:30.
That's Eastern Standard.
Any additional questions or concerns? Okay, all in favor? The vote is unanimous. Meeting is adjourned.